Welcome to the Bucher and Friends podcast, co-starring 10-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion, Will Blackman.
Manning from the end zone. He throws, and a deflect away, and it is picked off by Will Blackman, the former Giant.
Tim Dwight watches it hit, bounces, picks it up at the 10, slips a defender, fumbles the football, it's up for grabs, it's covered in the end zone by Will Blackman for a Green Bay touchdown!
And now, here is your host,
Let's send it over to Rick Bucher.
Rick Bucher.
He's back. Yes. Welcome to another episode of Bucher and Blackman, subsidiary of Bucher and Friends, part of the United WeCast network. I'm Rick Bucher. You can see me on FS1. You can read me on Bleacher Report, and you can follow me on Twitter at Rick Bucher. He is the recovered Will Blackman, NFL vet, Super Bowl champ. You can see him on NFL Network, and you can follow him on Twitter at Will Blackman. So I asked you, Will missed yesterday, so it was a episode of Bucher Friendless. I asked you how you felt and what you had, and you said you had the itis. And I looked at you, and you gave me no more information, as if I'm supposed to know what the itis is. So, for our listeners who do care about your well-being, explain where you were yesterday, or what was bothering you.
Listen, I was just down and out.
Okay.
All right.
Wow. Man of mystery. Like,
that's all you need to know.
Okay. All right. I've been fighting some allergies. I thought it was a cold. I was taking some cold medicine. I think it was allergies. I've never had allergies before, but I think with all the rain that we've had in California.
Either. But California would tear me up.
Yeah. I think that's what I've been dealing with. I was never allergic to penicillin. Suddenly I developed an allergy to penicillin. It's weird. You stay around on the planet long enough and weird things happen. All right. We have to get into all of the NBA action over the weekend. I talked about it a bit. We do want to preview the upcoming Western Conference and Eastern Conference Finals series, especially with Kevin Durant out. And I'm also going to tell you why it is that Kevin Durant wants to go to the New York Knicks. Even now, as it looks like they might win 3 in a row, which means if he stuck around, they'd have a chance to win 4, maybe even 5. Why that does not appeal to him more than going someplace else. I will help you understand why that is. But I want to get just to your overview, since you haven't had a chance to talk about it, and we haven't had a chance to hear you speak on it, of the 3 games, of the events of the weekend, whether it's C.J. McCollum taking over for Damian Lillard as the go-to guy in the upset in Denver, or it's Kawhi Leonard's shot for Toronto, or it's Steph Curry on Friday night recovering from a struggle of a first half with 33 second half points and doing everything down the stretch without KD. What was the thing that captured your imagination the most?
For me, it was Kawhi Leonard as a whole. And the reason is because he did not have a great night shooting, but he did not care.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to win this game. It's going to go through me.
Yeah.
That's what I loved. And then when it mattered, he made it happen. Yeah, he missed one shot, a 2-pointer, but he literally was like, I'm going to win this game, period. And that's what I do love the most.
That's what Steph did too, though.
Yeah, but we've seen Steph just go off, We know he's a former MVP,
Right. So that wasn't a surprise.
It wasn't a surprise because I knew it could happen.
Right.
But for Kawhi to go and finally have his own team, and to once again not have, it's not a matter of like, oh, if Kawhi doesn't do well, then who is?
Right.
Because the Raptors, they're a good team overall.
Yes, for sure.
Where you go to Golden State, it's either Clay is going to go off, Steph's going to go off, and when KD was healthy, KD can go off.
Yeah.
By the way, I love C.J. McCollum's game, though.
It's a nice game.
I love his game.
It's such a nice game.
It is so cool, man.
And he defies the size element and the mid-range is a bad shot element because he's got all of that. And he's just slippery.
He can score whenever he wants, man.
He is, but he gets everything not on the pure blow by. It's all misdirection. It's all getting you leaning the wrong way and
exactly,
and then going. And
he had one where he spun to his right,
yes,
and then stutter step and took him. I was like, oh,
and faded. Yeah, and the defender was right there. I think it was Jamal Murray, if not Gary Harris, but whoever it was. Like, defended it about as well as you could defend it. Now,
I like Jamal Murray's game, too. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. He struggled in that last game. This was, by the way, the Achilles heel that I thought that the Nuggets had. And it didn't show up. Like, the fact that it didn't show up until Game 7 was what was impressive. And I got to tell you, I've had so many NBA players, either past or present, who asked me, they were like, do you think Jamal Murray had that in his game? I think it was Jim Jackson was among them when we were down doing stuff for FS1. I was like, I didn't think he was going to be able to do that on this stage. So very impressive. And I agree with you when it comes to CJ McCollum. The thing I was going to say is, I don't know if people fully appreciate how hard it is to keep shooting in these clutch situations when your shot is not falling.
Right.
To not defer, to not start to be a little more cautious, or because Kawhi wasn't cautious. Steph Curry is never cautious. Like, at some point, like, if you've missed so many shots, it's like, do I really want to pull up from 28 feet and let it go and let it fly?
Right.
That is a hard thing. The level of confidence and resilience you have to have is extraordinary. And I'm wondering if I don't know if it equates in football terms, whether you've ever seen anybody, maybe it's Eli or I don't know, a quarterback that you played with, because they're the first ones that I think of that get so many opportunities that they could be having a bad 3 quarters, and then they suddenly string it together and lead you on a drive. I don't know if it equates to any other position in football. Maybe it does. You would tell me. But I just wonder whether you've ever seen something like that where somebody's struggling mightily, but they don't stop slinging it or going after it.
You know who's like that? Russell Wilson's like that. That is my comparison.
Yeah.
Because he truly, offensively, carried that team for years.
And his numbers would be very modest.
As soon as Marshawn left. Exactly. Trying to remember, it was the NFC Championship game. Russell threw 4 picks. Yeah. He threw 4 picks.
That's right.
And then I think he threw a Hail Mary to Jermaine Kearse in overtime.
That sounds
Hold
right.
on, I gotta find this.
Yeah.
Anyhow, right. my point is he threw 4 picks that game and still won.
Right. That takes an incredible resilience.
Yeah, and he was what, 14, 29?
Right. And this goes to the heart of my, making the right basketball play. Like, in the pros, there is no, I'm gonna give it to the open teammate, or it's not my day, I'm gonna let somebody else do it. In the pros, that doesn't exist. You have to play the same role that you've played all year long, because you get paid for that role, and the team is built for you to play that role.
Right.
The idea that you defer when it gets heavy or you're struggling, it's like, no, you're you're a superstar because you're supposed to be able to figure it out. You're supposed to be able to manufacture it if it's not going the way it normally goes for you. So I feel as if we've seen that. This is the problem that I have. Now, people are immediately going, well, Kawhi is more clutch than Kobe, and he's better all around than Michael Jordan. And I'm like, do we have to do this? I said it in yesterday's podcast, but I'm going to reiterate today. Look, you can appreciate what he did, and you can find it extraordinary,
right,
without having to proclaim it as the greatest ever. We don't always have to do that. Michael Jordan did so many things that Kawhi Leonard, as great as he is, does not do, tangible and intangible. And you hit one shot from the corner that bounces on the rim 4 times, that takes by the way, score tied, not behind by one, which is an entirely different animal in taking that shot. If he misses the shot, they're going overtime, and they're at home.
Right.
It's the same with LeBron with his running bank off the glass.
So to cut you off,
yeah,
I just confirmed, yes, Russell threw 4 picks and 0 TDs and threw the game winner in overtime.
Yeah.
A 35-yard bomb. That's identical.
That's it. That's pretty much it.
That's it.
Yeah. So here's my thing with any of these clutch situations. We've probably got, and you tell me who I'm missing. These are the guys.
You mean currently?
Yeah, still alive in the playoffs. Because we got like a half a dozen guys who are willing to take that shot. Willing and able. Steph, KD, Clay, Damian, CJ, Kawhi. It's more than half a dozen. I'm going to say Giannis because I don't think he's probably the one that I hesitate the most. He's not afraid to take a shot.
I wouldn't hesitate with him. He's trying to win, damn it.
I don't think he's going to take a 3 with the game on the line. I think he'll look to take the shot. I think he'll drive if he can get to his spot. But it's not like I hand the ball to Giannis and Giannis will, no matter what, is going to find a way, because he should be able to. I mean, because this is the other thing. The guys that we're talking about all have the capability of getting their shot. So I want you taking that shot because you have the capability of getting it. Do I put Chris Middleton or Eric Bledsoe in that circle? I know they have the willingness. I don't know if they're quite the talent puts them on that level.
I put Iguodala.
Whew. That's not a bad call.
I would put Iguodala. And I would also put Danny Green.
That's not a bad call either. As far as willingness to take the shot with the game on the line.
Willingness to take the shot, yes.
Kyle Lowry. I'm going to put him in that camp.
I think Kyle Lowry a few years ago.
Maybe.
I think, okay, Kyle won't take a 3. Kyle will drive, take the contact, and try to get a 3-point play.
Well, now we're starting to split hairs because I don't know that Andre Iguodala really wants to take a 3. He will.
Take a 3.
He will. Yeah, no, you're infatuated with the 5 for 8 that he just shot. That was the most.
I'm not infatuated with the 5 for 8. I just think he would. Finals MVP.
Yeah, but that was the oddest Finals MVP ever.
It was. I agree.
So, okay. So looking at these matchups, well, let's just go straight to it. Who do you think's winning?
Man, I'm not gonna bet against the champs.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, it's hard to.
Yeah, and I just think their pace is gonna be just way too much. But for the other one, that's gonna be such a good series, man.
Yeah.
Bucks Raptors, I'm excited for that.
Yes, I am.
Because especially you have 2 of the newer stars.
Yeah.
And Giannis and Kawhi, 2 guys who have that Mamba mentality, that killer instinct, that it's on me.
Yeah, I give the edge to Toronto because Kawhi has been on this platform before, and Giannis is not.
See, I wouldn't do that.
Why?
Because I think Giannis has the mindset where it's like it doesn't even matter. I think he's so ready already. You know, sometimes experience is cool and all. I feel like he's so ready. And once again, I can bring the Seahawks again. The example when they played the Broncos in that Super Bowl. Payton has been there before. A bunch of coaches have been there before. A couple of players have been there before. Seahawks was just like this young, hungry, angry team who never been there.
Yeah.
No experience, nothing. Hasn't even been even close. I mean, they've been in the playoffs, but they were just so ready to go.
That's fair. It's a fair comparison.
You know, I don't think the moment's too big for him, for Giannis. He got a shoe for crying out loud.
Yeah. Oh, he's got slippers too.
He got slippers?
He's got green slippers. He's got the Hulu slippers. I believe that the potential difference could be that, first of all, Toronto, I believe, benefited. Like, they owe a debt of gratitude to the 76ers. Because the 76ers made the Raptors work to get to the conference finals. Boston did not do that for Milwaukee. Detroit did not do that for Milwaukee. And Toronto's ability to defend the three could be a shock to the system for Milwaukee. I would be shocked if they get the same looks and they shoot the same percentage.
But what I love about Milwaukee is they took Boston's will. A team that you both you and I said earlier, like, man, they're championship ready.
Yes.
They're ready to go. And they just got blown up.
Yeah. Well, Boston had a lot more issues than I realized. Because Kyrie's the hell out of there. Like, there ain't no doubt in my mind now, whether it's New York, whatever he's doing, and I keep hearing it's the Knicks, Kyrie is not going back to Boston. That ship has sailed. And from everything that I'm hearing, KD, what the Warriors do is not going to make a difference in his decision. And for those who may not understand, and I see this constantly, and I'm constantly asked this, and I understand it. It's more than a fair question. Like, if they win 3 in a row, why wouldn't he stick around for 4 in a row? Why would he leave to go to the Knicks? Why wouldn't he want to do something historic? It's for the same reason that LeBron James didn't stick around in Miami. Because as long as LeBron was in Miami, it was going to be a credit to the organization, Pat Riley, Dwayne Wade. We taught LeBron James how to be a champion.
Right.
Kevin Durant faces the exact same thing with the Warriors, and it doesn't matter how many finals MVPs he gets. It doesn't matter how many championships they win. It's always going to be KD came in and learned and was able to do this because of what the Warriors already had.
They had the blueprint.
Yes, and you're already seeing it and hearing it now. That all they did was eke out a Game 5 that was wild as hell. I mean, it wasn't like they suddenly, the ball popped and everything, but that was a crazy scramble at the end of that game.
Right.
They win that, and then they beat a Rockets team that they'd already beaten in a pivotal game in Houston before. So now suddenly it's like, see, they can win championships without KD. I'm not convinced of that. Steve Kerr did a tremendous job in Game 6. He rolled the dice. And it's something that he actually set up throughout the year, something that he learned from Phil Jackson. And again, I don't know if you've ever played for a coach or a program that does this. But he takes guys that normally are not in the rotation, and at various points in the year, he suddenly throws them out there. And he throws them out there in important situations. He did it last year with JaVale McGee, starting him against the Cavs. He did it. He's done it with various guys. Nick Young got a start at one point. But he does it through the course of the year, and then he did it in Game 6. And then the whole idea is, we want you to know, like, we still have faith in you. You may not play all the time, but we believe that we can call on you and you'll give us what you need. And that's exactly what he got in Game 6 from Kevon Looney, Jonas Jerebko, Jordan Bell. I mean, he got 80 minutes out of the bench. He'd gotten 50 minutes out of the bench. I don't know if you can
do that in football. I don't think you can do that in football.
You can't.
Because you can actually, design plays in basketball where no one's really exposed. Where football, I'm saying in a sense where if someone subbed out, let's say Deion Sanders and put somebody else in.
No, but see, here's the thing. This is the thing. That's exactly what the Rockets should have done. And they didn't do. They should have gone after Quinn Cook. They should have gone after Jonas Jerebko. Like, Steve, you can't play Jordan Bell in this. We're going to exploit him. He doesn't belong in this series.
That's where they failed
against us. But Houston, this is what the genius of Steve Kerr in doing this was. And actually, what backfired in losing KD is that Houston and their defensive guru, Jeff Bzdelik, had really dialed up what they needed to do to put the clamps on the Warriors. And they had drilled and designed it for what the Warriors like to do. And by playing all of these different guys, it suddenly changed how the Warriors played. And the things that the Rockets had been doing by rote the whole series, it suddenly changed in this game. They faced some sets and some action that they were just hesitating a little bit on. And it was enough for the Warriors to get a couple things done and keep it close. And that's really all they needed through the first half, was not to let the game get away from them. So now you got Steph, and because of foul trouble, but he didn't have to play anybody long minutes like his regular guys.
Right.
So it kind of backfired on Houston because they were so used to seeing everything that the Warriors ran with KD that when you took that away, it took them a beat or two to kind of get dialed back in.
Well, by then, they were in desperate situation. They kept running their ISOs.
Yes. And that's their fallback.
That is their fallback.
Right? And
that does not win games or championships.
This, to me, though, is what I put on James Harden in particular. Because most people say you can't... Like, if you run ISOs for him early, it remains to be seen how much energy he's going to have late, right? You don't want to do that all game long if you don't have to. The problem is compounded when James takes too much time to get into his stuff.
That's exactly what it is. He's sitting there, he's going between the legs like 4 or 5 times, dude, and trying. That's like the whole 10 seconds, dude.
Go. Like, all of that takes up energy. If I'm working a guy for 15 seconds, it's not the same as I get it, stutter, I'm either stepping back or I'm going at you.
Like CJ.
Yes.
CJ got like 2 or 3 moves. Boom, 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 bucket.
Yeah. Now, obviously, teams load up on James a little bit different, but the bottom line is you still got to go. Look, at one point I looked out there and there was Quinn Cook, Alfonso McKinney, and I think it was Kevon Looney with Steph
I like
Clay.
Looney.
He was like, you can't find somebody to exploit out of those 5?
Looney played well at least the past 2 games.
And you know what he did? But they were all hustle points.
It was all hustle, offensive boards,
rebounds,
yeah,
going back up. This is where I didn't understand why Mike D'Antoni didn't give Kenneth Faried a sniff. Because whenever I'm watching a game, I always
and beat Looney up, right?
Yes. Well, because Capella wasn't. Like, when I'm watching a game, I often think, like, how would I like playing with that guy? Or what would it be like playing with it? And I'll tell you, I would have strangled Clint Capella if I was playing with him. Because there are things that he needed to do. Like, I looked at him coming into the series and I said, he could be a problem. He could be a matchup problem. If he's rolling to the rim, if he's active, if he's doing everything that he can do, he's going to be a problem. He wasn't doing those things. He couldn't finish consistently. He was a step slow defensively. When Nene would come in, I mean, Nene's like 50 years old. He'd come in, he'd give him a good 7-8 minutes, but he couldn't sustain it. And for me, I would have gone to Faried. I would have given him a sniff. And what I was told is D'Antoni is very strict about, these are my 7, and if you're not in the 7, you're in the other 5. And you rarely get out of that 5 unless something catastrophic happens. Somebody gets hurt in the 7. But in this instance, Steve Kerr did that. He went to the other.
Can I make another Seahawk reference?
Yes.
So what this reminds me of with the Warriors is that what Seattle did well when they had their little run is that John Snyder and Pete Carroll, they did an extremely phenomenal job of training the bottom of the depth chart. Mm-hmm. They would spend countless hours and time training the bottom of their depth chart.
That's a Patriots thing too, right? I always feel like, there's certain, everybody says next man up, but there's some teams that are prepared for that.
Well, yeah, because what the thing with the Patriots, everyone has a role. Regardless of what it is, they know their role. But to your point, that's what Steve Kerr was doing throughout the season. Hey, you go get a start. You go get a start. Yeah, putting guys out there. That's funny.
It was truly amazing. Have you, so with the Rockets, Have you ever seen a team that, like, mentally just hits a wall, where you look at them and you go, look, they were really talented. I thought they could win it all. I thought they had a chance. But you know what? They got to blow that thing up now because there's a tragic flaw.
Damn, I got to make another reference.
That's why I have you here.
So this whole, what are you going to call it? This whole rivalry between the Rockets and the Warriors is just as real as the rivalry between the Niners and Seahawks when they were going back and forth for all those years. Mm-hmm. Same thing. They just couldn't get by them.
Yeah.
They just couldn't do it. And the next thing you know, what's the name? Harbaugh's out of there.
Yeah.
They just blow the whole thing up.
Yeah.
They just could not get past them. So
it will be interesting to see which direction they go. I've heard people call for Mike D'Antoni's head. I saw my man Chris Broussard was suggesting that the Rockets call and see if they can make a deal. Chris Paul for Ben Simmons.
Yeah, because he is furious, the owner.
the Rockets owner?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he just laid out some big cash for that franchise.
He did. He said, damn it, James Harden is 30 years old. Okay.
Here's the thing, though, to be honest. It's the Houston Rockets. They've been in the mix the last 2-3 years. They have bona fide stars.
They can win.
But there's something to be said for being in Houston and having a perennial contender with marketable stars. It's not what you want to hear. And here's the case that I would make. While I believe that the Rockets are never going to win a championship as constituted. If they want to win a championship, they've got to go back to the drawing board. They've got to move something significant. In hindsight, I feel like the Boston Celtics should have done the same thing. Like, to shake things up, because guys...
Yeah, you don't lose 4-1 to the Bucks.
Yes, but during the season, the fact that they were so up and down, what Danny Ainge needed to do was he needed to trade Jaylen Brown or Terry Rozier. He needed to trade somebody to send a message to everybody else. Hey, if you guys don't get with the program, you're not going to be here. Like, if you guys got aspirations, everybody's a little too comfortable. Everybody's following their own agenda, thinking, hey, at some point, we'll figure it out and we'll be okay. You needed to kind of rattle everybody's cage.
How big do you think Marcus Smart affected the team? Him not being healthy? Yeah.
Monstrous. But I don't know if he would have been enough. Because...
Just not even like production-wise. I think just
his presence.
energy-wise.
Yes,
yeah.
100%. No, he's a guy that I'll go to war with any day. He's a winner. He's a gamer.
Right.
But you needed someone... Like this, Kyrie Irving, I now put in the Carmelo Anthony camp. In that he's a great player. He's a great scorer.
You put him in the street ball category?
Well, I can't have him as my leader.
Right.
It's a catch-22 in that on most teams he's going to be your best player, and your best player is generally your leader and has to be your hardest worker. Kyrie Irving is not going to be either one of those other things. So
he's a Robin.
Yes, he is. With the skill and ability of a Batman.
Right.
That is the catch-22.
That's the frustrating part about it.
Yes,
yeah.
That's the thing that you have. That's the workaround. So Carmelo Anthony had his greatest success when he played with Chauncey Billups. Now, when he played with Chauncey Billups, college, we're going to throw that. Put that aside. You can. He
had a great coach.
You can get away with a lot in college through the tournament. Tournament's not having to win 7-game series.
Well, Chauncey though.
But he was at his best with Chauncey Billups. Chauncey had a ring. Chauncey was point guard and a floor general. Chauncey was all business. Chauncey could lead the team, and while he wasn't better than Carmelo Anthony, Melo respected him enough that Chauncey could keep him in his lane and get the best out of him. We saw the same thing with Carmelo on the national team for the same reason. You had leaders. You could just let Carmelo do what he did best and not ask him to do any of the intangibles. I feel as if Kyrie is in that same camp. Now, the real question is going to be, if and when Kyrie and KD get together in New York, is KD going to be that for Kyrie? And I'm not saying he can't be. In fact, that may be the real enticement for KD, which is, watch me lead Kyrie in a way that Russ never let me. And I really think in some ways, this is a race. Russ Westbrook and KD are still competing. It's to see who gets a ring first.
Would you say,
as the guy?
Would you say that after the Lakers three-peat, that Kobe went through a similar phase where he had to learn to truly become Batman without Shaq?
It wasn't becoming Batman as much it was learning how to utilize the pieces around him, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I think you're saying like he had to learn how to lead, right? And I think you're right. But I never questioned his work ethic or his willingness to lead. I mean, he didn't have a whole lot of talent around him.
Because of what he did, he automatically, commanded respect.
Right.
Because Kobe showed like, hey,
Right. Like, for example, if I put Kobe on this Boston team, Kobe would have led them to the finals.
Which Kobe, though?
The Kobe,
that's what I mean, though.
The post-Shaq Kobe would have taken this team to the finals.
I'm talking about like 03, 04. Yes, he would have. I agree.
But because he got to a point where he learned, like he went through different phases. He got to a point where it was like, I need more talent. Like he thought he could do it by himself. And then it was the rude awakening. Oh, Kwame Brown, Smush Parker. No, I can only go so far. I'm not that good, right? I'm not that good. I thought I was. I thought I could win with just about anybody. I mean, LeBron discovered the same thing. Like, I need certain guys to be able to get it done. So Kobe then got to a point where he realized, not only do I need other talent, but I need to let that talent breathe.
Stop hating on Chucky Atkins, man. Brian Cook? What? Big
Cookie. Devin George, come on down.
A young Quran.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the iterations of Kobe is a fascinating thing.
Hey.
Yes.
Really quick.
Yeah. Did you pick your teams, by the way? Who do you have winning? No. You're not going against the Warriors, but then you kind of waffled when it came to the Raptors and the Bucks. Pick one.
Warriors and Raptors. KD would be healthy. KD, Kawhi. We're going to get what we want.
That would be a great fight.
Since we never got LeBron and Kobe, we're going to get KD, Kawhi.
Actually, either one of them at this point.
Either one, yeah, because those, right now, that's top three right there.
Yeah. By the way, how did KD strain a calf muscle when he has no calves?
I don't know.
Take a look at the dude. He has no calves.
I don't know, man.
It's a pencil.
Idea. That's why there's no muscle mass there. So, really quick.
Yeah.
So I put out a list on Twitter the other day.
How did I miss this?
Was
this when you had the itis?
No, this itis is actually when you're full from a lot of food, and that's not what I had.
Okay. Good to know.
Anyhow,
I feel like I should have known that.
I had a list of my top five. The reason I say my, because I didn't say the most. Yeah. My top five exciting football players ever.
Okay. Oh, I did see that.
You did, but I said that's what's funny about Twitter. I said these are my favorite.
Yeah.
And people want to go off on my favorite.
Right.
I said mine.
Right.
This is a friendly. Just put yours.
Yeah.
And shut your mouth.
That's where people don't. But you know what? I think they automatically assumed that you were saying
they just missed the my part
instead of my, because that's the way everybody rolls on Twitter.
So 1 through 3.
Yeah.
People were like, okay, I put Barry Sanders as 1.
Okay.
Most exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I put Devin Hester as number 2 for me. most exciting. He had 19 returns for touchdowns, I think.
Okay.
And then I put Deion Sanders.
Okay.
So number 4 is when it got really, I caused an uproar. Pat Mahomes was number 4 for me.
Wow.
Exactly. Look at you.
Jeez, what?
My most exciting.
That's an awfully short resume.
That's you don't need a resume. He had one. All you need is one season of just exciting.
Really? That's all you need?
That's all I needed. I don't need a body of work.
Okay.
And then number 5 for me was Favre. Now I do get it. People are like, "Damn, dude, what the f? No Michael Vick." I hear you. I think Michael Vick is extremely exciting, but Michael Vick for me in college was like way more exciting.
Exciting.
Now, if I made a list of like the most dangerous players, I have Michael Vick on there as one of the most dangerous. But most excited for me was Mahomes, man. I mean,
I'm with you on Barry Sanders.
Yeah,
I'm with you on Deion. Did you have Rodgers on there?
Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
No, but he would be on my dangerous list.
He's also on my exciting list. You don't know what he's going to do. I'm putting him there. I'm not putting Mahomes there yet. As much as I think that Mahomes will end up there.
But why yet? See, it's always like everybody who's like 45 and up, they're like, oh, too young.
No, don't become an ageist. What are you talking about?
Too young.
No, look,
the dude just won an MVP. That should shut everything. I don't care about body of work. He won an MVP. Now, if he was exciting and he didn't win MVP, he didn't lead his team to the playoffs, but he was exciting, I wouldn't put him there. But the fact that he just went off, okay, had the worst defense, second to worst defense in the NFL, and did it all by himself. Despite
I'm putting Drew Brees on my list before I'm putting Patrick Mahomes on my list.
As most exciting?
Yes.
Brees ain't throwing no-look passes.
Oh, so you've been taken by one particular play. One play.
Roll to my right and just throw it across field blind to somebody else. I mean, come on now.
How many Aaron Rodgers plays would you say only Aaron? I could just go with Hail Marys alone and blow Patrick Mahomes out of the water with my Aaron Rodgers.
People are already putting Mahomes past Aaron Rodgers. Not me, but some people are already in terms of like arm talent.
Some people are saying Kawhi Leonard surpassed Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
Nobody said Jordan.
Yeah, people have said they think he's better all around.
Kawhi,
and I love how
Kawhi right now he's like Jordan on the Wizards.
Ooh, that's harsh. Now you're being unfair to Kawhi.
Fine, maybe 98 Jordan, because he's not like fast.
No, he's not. He's not. He's not agile. He's not. He's kind of robotic.
It's very like.
He's a power.
Almost like it's lots of power, and Jordan was lots of power towards the end of his career.
Yes, but prior, like in his championship years,
no,
that was a bad man. Like people do not understand.
They don't understand
what a bad man he was.
They don't understand.
They don't. They don't understand how
he was quick like Iverson and strong and aggressive like LeBron.
Well, he was more aggressive than LeBron. I mean, there are times even LeBron
I meant in terms of like the physicality, not in terms of like mentally. Mentally, there was nobody like Jordan. I'm sorry.
Anytime Jordan was on the floor, you were conscious, and everyone in the building was conscious of where he was. You were never, like, when he was not on the floor, there was a void. It was like you were waiting for him to get back on the floor. And the instant he was on the floor, everything was about where's Jordan. Offensively and defensively.
LeBron's like that.
No, there's plenty of times where I'm like, oh, hey, LeBron's on the floor.
Right. You know when that man is on the court.
No. Like, most of the time you do, because the ball's in his hands. But there have been times over the course of his career where it was like, oh my God.
Right. Jordan is never missing in action. I get that.
Never. Which is an extraordinary thing to say. And I'm sure there are people who never watched him play or never saw him live or never watched him live on TV who are thinking, oh, you guys are exaggerating. You're glorifying the past. You're making too much of this. No, this is what you don't understand about Michael Jordan. He was always like that. He was always on. He was always looking to eat somebody's lunch. And I'm talking about a game at the end of November. I'm talking about a game in the dog days of February after the All-Star break. If he was playing, he was looking to prove a point. If he was on the floor, he was looking to prove a point. He didn't take plays off. He was always looking to take an advantage. Now, he wasn't as active at the end of his career as he was at the beginning. There were times where Scottie Pippen took the more challenging defensive assignment. But Jordan was always dialed in. He was always looking and waiting for you to make a mistake. In the way that when we see LeBron, when LeBron's hunting that rundown block, you can tell. He's like, oh, I see it coming. Or I see an opportunity to get a pick and a breakaway dunk. You can feel it when LeBron's hunting for that.
I'm going to read you a list that I have here. So you got Mark Price, Larry Nance, Brad Daugherty, John Stockton, Karl Malone, okay?
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, John Starks, Charles Barkley, Tim Hardaway, Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson, Chris Mullin, Rick Smits, Anthony Hardaway, Sean Kemp, Detlef Schrempf, Dikembe, Mookie, Steve Smith, Christian Laettner, Kevin Johnson, Dan Marley.
What is this list?
Because of Jordan, they all don't have a ring. Okay? That is my point. When this man was live and well getting it done, these Hall of Famers suffered.
Yeah.
They did not get a ring.
Clyde Drexler.
Because of this man.
Clyde Drexler.
Why? It's crazy.
Got it while Mike was off the court.
While he was off the court. Yeah, exactly.
Akeem. Same thing.
Houston went in. Hurry up, Houston.
Yeah. All right. That does it for this episode of Bucher and Blackman. So good to have you back, Will. Glad you got over the itis. Glad I know what itis is now.
Thanksgiving.
Will missed yesterday's podcast because he ate too much.
I didn't eat it all, actually.
All right. Look, if you enjoy the show, we are just a handful of ratings away from having our drawing and giving away prizes. And as soon as we do that, we'll put another bag of prizes together and do it again. But I think we need 100 on iTunes, and we're in the 90s. So come up with some fake accounts and screenshot your review of us, and then send it to @BucherFriends, and that'll give you more chances of winning the prizes. And it will also fulfill our need to get to 100 before we have the drawing. In any event, please let us know how we're doing. We love to hear from you. And again, screenshot that review to @BucherFriends. In the next podcast, I had a chance to get together with Blake Griffin and did a piece on him about making the transition to Detroit. And a lot of our conversation, I couldn't get into the story, but it was fascinating to hear him talk about a variety of things. And I wanted to share that with you guys. So I sent that audio to Blake to say, hey, I'd like to put this out as a podcast. What do you think? Finally had a chance to listen to it. He got it back to me and said, do what you want with it. He said it was a little boring to listen to myself talk that much, but he gave me the go-ahead. So that will be in the next podcast for Bucher and Friends. In the meantime, as always, thanks for listening.